So, these are my favorite books of all time. I used to read a lot when I was in like 8th, 9th grade. I read close to 50 books in that year, and then 10th and 11th and 12th grade I read like less and less and less, and then like this year in 2019 I have completed 2 books, but I really do love reading still, and for 2020 I want to get back into that, so I thought that to kind of motivate me more, I'm gonna talk about my favorite books of all time, starting right now, in no particular order. The first book that I want to talk about is called Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too. And it is, you know, like pictures and stuff like that, but I think it's beneficial to read no matter what age you are. It's about an alien who goes down to Earth to discover what humans are like, and it doesn't go the route that you expect it to, and it really is a powerful story. The next book I'm talking about is the only book I have ever read in one sitting. So that's how much you know I've really got sucked into it, and that is The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith, and it's like a chunky book for something to read in one sitting. It's about a girl who was sexually abused by her brother's best friend on the first day of her freshman year in high school, and the book takes place in 4 parts: freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. This story was honestly just really, really captivating, and I could not put this down. And then a book that was my favorite book of all time for a long time is, it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini. It's based on a true story of the author's life, and it's also a movie, and it's a story about how he was so depressed and checked himself into a mental hospital and got the help he needed and everything, and it was a really, really, really inspiring book, and it was turned into a movie because it was so good. It was so inspiring, and I think that you guys should read it and then watch the movie. Another book that is one of my favorites is Dear Evan Hansen. When I first heard about Dear Evan Hansen, I listened to the soundtrack on Spotify when only, or Apple iTunes or whatever, when there was only like 2 songs released, and I would listen to those 2 songs over and over and over again. And then the full album came out, and I really didn't know anything about the play, but due to just the soundtrack, I felt so thrown into it, and it was very, very emotional just by listening to the soundtrack. So then a while later I watched the play like bootlegged, and it was so good, and then after that the book was released, so I read this and I loved it. If you guys don't even know what Dear Evan Hansen is, like, are you like under a rock or something? But you should definitely look into some Dear Evan Hansen. So I'm getting to the end here, unfortunately. Another book that I think anyone should read no matter how old you are is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. It's about a boy, and his mother is dying of cancer, and a tree comes to life and tells him 3 stories, and it sounds really stupid and dumb just by saying that, but it's actually one of the most amazing books I've read, and I read it in the picture version, and the pictures really do add something to it, so if you're gonna read it, I recommend buying this version with the pictures in it, not just the regular version. And it's really, really emotional, and I think that you guys should definitely, if you're not into reading at all, still watch the movie, and if you are into reading, read this and then watch the movie because you're really gonna love it. The last book I have physical is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is a second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, but this one just is my favorite out of those, so I wanted to include this one here. This is my favorite series that I've ever read. And I can't really say why, because I really don't know, but I just love it so much. And if you guys haven't read the series yet, what are you doing? You have to. And so the last book I actually want to talk about, I listened to it on Audible and I just finished it today, and that is The Glass Castle by Jeanette Alexandra. Even though I don't have a physical copy of it, I just felt the need to talk about it in this video. It's about Jeanette's life growing up, and her older sister and 2 younger siblings and her parents. They were always moving around place to place, and her father was an alcoholic, and he would take any money they made and buy it, spend it on alcohol, and it was just so hard for them from what it seemed like growing up. And what I think made this memoir such a good memoir is that she spoke about these things without judgment. And I think that's what really made it so good on like the next level. And there's so many things that it just makes you like go like. I listen to Audible while I'm driving, so I listened to the whole thing basically in the car, and there were times where I had to like stop for a second and just be like, oh my gosh, you know? So these are my favorite books of all time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're still watching, comment down below what your favorite book is, or if you can't pick, tell me what your few favorite books are, and I'm gonna see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!